Okay, hello everyone. What did I say? Okay, you don't have to say okay. You just say hello everybody and welcome. We're at Backyard Business, and what I love about it is we started this, and I'll get to Kate in a second. We started this by being literally in my backyard, and then we're like, why don't we go to other people's backyards? So we're at Inkwell, which is an amazing place. And speaking of amazing, I'm in with the amazing Kate Hughes. First of all, Kate, I have to tell you, I love the outfit.
Is it too much?
No, it's perfect. No, it's great. Even there, I just saw the ring. The ring's great too. But you're an amazing person, and you've done. We're just in a few minutes, so we were just talking about all you have going on. But what I really love is you do stand-up comedy, and I have such respect for that.
Well, you shouldn't. It's a lesson in humility for sure. Yeah, it's you're scared to death, but you do it anyway. And when it goes well, there's no other feeling like that. And when it goes badly, there's no other feeling like that. Yeah,
and we were talking how you have an audience, and you really. An audience is who they are. I mean, you can change them a little bit, but sometimes we were talking about. Sometimes I'll say hello, and the whole audience cracks up. Right. And sometimes my best line, I think, oh my God, this is going nowhere.
This is going to go great, and it doesn't. Yes, that happens, and happens on a larger scale when you do stand up. So
how do you seriously? That's not easy for everybody. How do you get yourself back into a positive state of mind?
Well, legend has it, that's called a bomb. When you bomb, and you are supposed to bomb, you are supposed to embrace the bombing.
So in other words, every great comedian, they bombed.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and when I was a kid, when I first started years and years ago, I didn't know that. And I had somebody who he just booed me off the stage. And I really thought that I wasn't good at it. Just because I was so young and I didn't realize every comedian does go through that. Even the greats, like Seinfeld has been, heckled and booed off stage. Not that I'm Seinfeld, but, so I stopped. I stopped for like 10 years because of that, unfortunately. And then, did other things. But I think when you have a calling, as you do, you always come back to it. You always find it.
I'm so glad you said that. I touched on that because people think, oh, you're a performer, you're a comedian. That's just great. Or even chamber work. Oh, this is so much fun. And today, everything's work. Yeah. And for you to, that's just to work through that. It's not easy.
Yeah. And then, the very first time I ever did stand-up comedy, it was a really great environment. I got a standing ovation.
Good job.
I did 30. I was supposed to do 5 minutes. I did 30 minutes.
That was the first one you said?
Very first one.
Oh, so you're like, this is a piece of cake.
And I was like, I'm going to Hollywood. Yeah, I thought I was going to be this brilliant comedian. Yeah. And then it's like chasing the dragon a little bit. And, other shows didn't go that well. And then I had that heckler and I was like, I should stop. But, I was saying off camera, there is a psychology behind it. It's an art form. Yeah. And it is your job to get the audience on your side. Like what you do with public speaking. Sure. It's our job to get them on our side.
Sure.
And then doing comedy, there's so many different types of comedy that you can do. I heard this comedian talk about doing a joke that you say it and it takes the audience a moment to get it. Mm-hmm. It was actually Steve Martin. Mm-hmm. And then you hear them start to laugh. And I don't know if that's called anything, but I've experienced that too, where you just drop the joke and you start saying something else and then they get it. Yeah. It's fascinating to me.
I'm on the air on radio with the guy, Bobby Gunther-Walsh, who started as a stand-up. And so he's got, in the course of a day, 1 million lines. But we had one this morning. I'll just throw one, and he said, he was talking about, I'm always the foil. Yeah, Tony worked in a bicycle shop for years, and actually in a bicycle company putting together bicycles, and he did so well they made him the spokesperson. You get it? There you go. So,
I got it.
Give me one. Do you have a favorite one?
Oh gosh, I hear when people say.
Do you? I'm sorry.
Like, do your jokes.
What's funny was that fortunately I do the TV show Business Matters. Who was your favorite guest? And I'm like,
oh gosh, yeah. I always people say that when they find out you're a comedian, like, tell me a joke.
Yeah.
But then you think,
make me laugh.
But like if you think about it, you wouldn't go up to a surgeon and be like, do some surgery.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. Show me a knee, a new knee. How you doing, a knee? So, all right, well, we'll let that go then, okay?
I'll do one at the end. I'll do one when you don't.
Thank you very much. Yeah. It's so funny. At the annual meeting, enough of me, but I have to just tell you this because we're here. But we have, 1,300 people. I come out singing a song many times. But my wife will say to me, "Hey, sing that song," and I can't do it one-on-one. Yeah. It's 1,000 people. Right. I'm all in.
Well,
that's weird.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That you're, I don't know.
You need the white hot spotlight.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So you're an amazing person. How did Kate become Kate? Now talk about you a little bit.
Well, we were talking a little bit off camera, and I'm originally from Bucks County, and I came to the Lehigh Valley to go to college. I went to Cedar Crest College.
Yeah.
And
it's an all-girls school.
All-girls school. Well, that was the rule. If I wanted to go away to school, I had to go to an all-girls school.
Oh, wow. What, they thought you would be too crazy if you went to a... Not you, or the school.
No, my family. We were raised Irish Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
I went to Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, all-girl Catholic high school.
Oh, wow.
And then all-girl college.
You're an angel.
I am. I'm basically going right to heaven. And I just... I don't know. I've always liked making people laugh. I think I use it sort of as sort of like armor or something.
We're so similar.
Yeah.
It just, diffuses things, makes everybody smile and happy.
Feel comfortable.
There's no trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I hate conflict.
Yeah.
And I just love making people laugh. I love connecting people as well. So, I would joke around. I worked in a restaurant when I was going through college, and the guy that owned the restaurant was the King George Inn. Do you remember
sure. Yeah.
Cliff McDermott.
Cliff, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were Irish because you were on the team then. He's like, I'll hire you.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. He's like, come on in. So I was working there, and I would always be telling jokes in the back with all the other servers. And one night he was having this event. It was all girls ladies night. And he hired a female comedian. I forget who it was, but it was somebody who had been on HBO. And he said, why don't you open up for her? And I was like, I had never done it before. And I was like, I could never do that. And he's like, I'll give you $50. I was like, maybe.
Maybe I'll give
$50 is $50.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
I practiced for like 2 weeks. I didn't tell anybody. I invited my mom and my best friend, and I was actually working that night. I was serving. So I had my uniform on.
Sure.
And, so Cliff got up and he said, we have a really great show for you tonight. We have this wonderful comedian, but first, and that was me. I was the but first. So I came out and I crushed it on my first time. I really did. And I really thought this is my calling.
Did you crush it because, where did you find the jokes to make you crush it? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, are you like a crazy research person? So you came there with good equipment, if you will, good lines?
I came there with a story. I had a story that I wanted to tell. I know my family's hysterical, so I joked about my mom. I joked about my dad, the strict upbringing, and I had a story about being in a car accident. It was my first car accident, and to get through it, I made jokes about, I was medevac to the hospital, and I pretended that I was dating the medevac guy. And I just kind of
I get it.
Thought
it's funny how you take real stories and you can make them into, I get that.
So that was my first big thing, and they were really into it. I got a standing ovation. I really was like, I am a genius. And so then I stopped doing comedy, and years and years later, I started to write. So I've written a couple plays. I'm in the middle of writing a book. I want to write a book.
Wow.
And
on what topic?
Basically, I think my life is comedy. You probably feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you took the time to really sit down and put it into chapters, the decades, the years, you would have a really great story that people would want to hear. And, my sort of story was, bad at love, just getting in the wrong relationships, and just always wanting to have, the white picket fence and everything.
Yeah.
And then giving up on that. And then that's when you find it. And, I'm married now, have a great guy, but getting there, it's quite the journey.
Well, it's funny. I have 7 kids, and my father's Italian, my mom's Irish. But comedy was my mother was really funny. Yeah. Really funny. I had a guy, by the way, and his name, when I was early on here, this is my mom's humor. His name was Danny Reevy. Mm-hmm. And Danny would always worked for a large company. He would take me to hockey games and all kinds of things. Was like a corporate PR guy, Right. This thing was and my mom would say, where are you going? I'm on the Flyers. We go with Danny Reevy. Danny Reevy. Anyway, she named him Danny Freebie. So anyway, but that was my mom. She's 80, at that point, she's like 85 years old, but she had that kind of
that quick wit.
And I use humor sometimes, almost too much, and sometimes not to even face the realities, but
yeah, I had this weird thing I was telling somebody the other day when the pandemic hit. Everything was shut down, and I'm on the Bethlehem Chamber, and Tammy Wendling said, let's do a game show. Let's do something online so that we can just still be engaging with the community. So she had me be the host of the game show. So it was on Zoom, and I would get dressed up, in these crazy costumes, and I was really upbeat and lively, for the show. And then the camera would go off, and I was completely alone. And my family doesn't live here, and I was living through the pandemic basically alone. And then when things started to open back up and, we started going out again, people would see me and they would say, oh, that's the funny girl. And then they would say, like, make me laugh, tell me a joke. And I was in this weird part of my life where I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it right then. And then, you work through it, and I've gone back, but that was a weird time. The pandemic was very strange.
Yeah. So. No, I get that though. It's sometimes, it's an expectation, hi, and they're almost saying to you, here we go. Come on. I'm supposed to laugh in the next couple of seconds. And you're like, oh, okay, let me. I remember when I first came here, people would say to the chamber, and that's 28 years ago, people would say, how you doing? If I would ever say, I'm okay. Well, what's going on? Yeah. So I realized, I developed me,
This persona.
Yeah. And I felt, I can tell I felt the responsibility, and now I love it. It's just part of what I do, but I do want people to leave happy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want people to leave like, and then of course, going to Catholic school, I'll leave an event where there was 1,000 people. I'll be like, oh, I didn't say hi to so-and-so. And I big time them. They were talking to me. I turned to somebody else. Oh my God, I'm going to hurt their feelings. Yeah. So tell us what are you up to now? I guess that's what I want to know. And I want them to know.
Well, I just.
You see them. That's them. That's the people.
Hi, them. I just wrapped up the first Red Shoe monologues. I wrote this show for the annual Red Shoe charity event. Wow. And I wrote this play. We had 23 people in the cast. We put it on at Civic Theater. We raised.
I love Civic.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? Yeah. Yes. Raised a bunch of money. So we'll be doing that again in the future. It was just a great way to get stories of women, celebrate things that happen to women that we don't really talk about too much. And it was really well received, and I'm really excited to do that again. And then here we're at Inkwell, and I have a lot of shows booked out for 2026.
Ellie and Bailey, can we go? I want to go to the show. Can we go to the show?
You must.
Can you get us in for free?
I can. Let me see what I can do.
I think that's what we're asking.
Yeah. So we have one big comedy show every month. So 12 a year. We do music here. And so I work with Kyle very closely. I love this place. He just wants people to be as creative and connecting and just have fun and really support one another. And I'm all about that. So yeah, and I work for Godfrey Daniels. I book some shows there. I do their grant writing there.
When I was a kid, that was a big place. Like a lot of they must be. How long have they been around?
They are celebrating 50 years.
Yeah, that sounds like it. I remember that was a big when I was younger. The hot acts, Godfrey Daniels.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it was more like hippie place at that time.
It's slightly different now.
Yeah.
50 years later.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, so we'll have a big celebratory. The Jubilee, the 50th Jubilee. Yeah. So I'll be hosting that as well. So yeah, I've worked with the Da Vinci Science Center. This year has been very transformative, very eye-opening. I just kept saying yes to things. I'm exhausted. Yeah. But I just, as I'm sure you are, I love it.
I love your energy. You're really.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm serious. Well, I usually, have the bow tie and all that stuff. And now look how I dress and look at you. So tell me about the outfit, which is absolutely amazing. But I think it says a lot about you. That some people, people say to me, I'm sorry, but I want to interrupt you. But people say to me, nobody could pull off that suit but you. And it has nothing to do with me. I'm not tall. I have no hair. I'm not, but I think if you're willing to give it a shot, or something tells you that we're going with this,
Yeah. So I'm very interested in the great comedians. So like Seinfeld, I think Amy Schumer is brilliant. I just watched the Eddie Murphy documentary, and I watched Steve Martin's, he has got a 2-part docuseries. And when he first started out, he was brilliant, and he was trying things that no one else was doing, and he was completely misunderstood. People didn't get him. Yeah. And he decided he was going to wear a white suit. He was a hippie. He shaved and cut his hair and everything. And, people were like, what is he doing? So I didn't want to emulate him, in that regard and his comedy, but I like the idea of having, it is like armor. I noticed that people are very nice to me.
Yeah, sure.
They'll be like, "Oh, I love your outfit," and it kind of is this. It's true, and it's kind of this protective shield.
I call it a shtick. You need something.
Right, it's a shtick, and to be honest, for women, it's much more difficult to do comedy. You don't see a whole lot of female comedians, and you do have to have, in my opinion, for me, I have to have a shtick in order to get people on my side. So they see me come out and, I act a little crazy, and then they're like, maybe she's funny.
Well, you know what? They're telling me about time, and I don't care because I want to ask you this one because you're really good, really good. So do you ever notice that, and you've studied it, I'm sure, how comedians are like really hot, and for some reason, I don't know if and they either go off the rails and start doing crazy stuff just because they're probably tired of doing the same jokes, or I guess there's a tendency, I don't know, there's a tendency, here I go again. I'm gonna be true to me,
right,
and just do what the heck I want to do.
Well, I think it's a lot of therapy. I think you're never going to find a comedian. You might, but I think most comedians are trying to work through something. Like I said, when I first started, I joked about this terrible car accident that I had in order to make it funny, in order to make me feel like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And, it's something that I lived through and it wasn't that traumatic, but I do see it very much as therapy and psychology. So I think when people, they're making jokes about things. A lot of comedians are self-deprecating, and you see that on stage. You're like, oh, this person feels a certain way about themselves. So I think when they get to a certain point where they feel like, oh, I figured it out, I got it, then they maybe go off and do something else.
No, like the hell with you. I'm doing what I want to do.
Right. Yeah. And then I think, like Dave Chappelle, he went away for a long time, but he's back. He's genius.
I know you said 1 minute, like minutes ago, but I have to ask this one. So I do a lot. I like self-deprecations. But I think if you're really honest to yourself, that can hurt a little bit sometimes. You laugh, and but because it works and it engages you, but you hear it.
You certainly do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So how much for humor? I go right to the stuff, but I just wanted to make that point because I think you're amazing, and I think that what you try to do is not. It looks fun, it looks comedic, and all that stuff, and you're in playwriting and theater, but you're a creator, and you just said, I'm really tired, so
exhausted.
I guess that's enough. But you're amazing. Are you going to do the joke, or are we just going to forget that? Because you did promise.
I did promise a joke at the end.
Come on, give us a little one.
Gosh, I can't even think of one now.
The other guy, I'll give you the one my guy always says. He always says, Tony he gets suits. I get really nice suits from C.E. Roth. He gets suits. He said my size is medium dumpy. Anyway, so that's self-deprecating, but it is comical, I must say. Yeah. Anyway, you got one? Are we good?
I feel like this whole thing has been one big joke.
Yeah, that's true.
For you.
That's true.
You're welcome.
I hope you're happy with it because you're amazing. And
I'm so happy. Thank you so much for doing it.
See, now I'll drive home. Oh, maybe I wasn't nice enough. Tonight I'll be laying in bed. Maybe I should have said so. Anyway, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh,
you're absolutely amazing.
Oh.
If I'd like to say the old line, will you come back? We'd like to have you again. Would you come back again?
I'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. A Backyard Business, just amazing. And have a great week, everybody.